You think back, you know, like.
Guys, it's 6:01. Lucas is on, but he's sick, so he asked Tony to run the meeting. So we're gonna get started.
Today is Thursday, April 10th, 2025, 6 o'clock. I am calling the meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission to order. Number one, audience of citizens.
None.
And the audience of citizens. Two, approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of March 13th, 2025.
Can I get a second? Sir. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Any discussion, changes, corrections, additions, deletions? Hearing none, can we get a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Consent agenda. Before we look for a motion for all of them, is there any of these items that would need to be discussed? Outside of motion. So then can I get a motion to accept consent agenda items A through F?
Motion to accept consent agenda items A through F.
I'll
Can I get a
second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Item number 4, Parks and Recreation Monthly Report.
Close, open the floor to any questions.
Do you have any job openings?
I'm still taking applications for summer fun and pool. I would prefer the pool is someone with WSI because I only have 2 people. I'm interviewing someone who's going through the process for WSI right now, so hopefully that will work. But pool attendant we're full, so. We didn't have a ton of openings.
Yeah.
But I'll probably end up hiring more staff than I need.
Yeah.
So we can keep the younger staff going, so that we don't have a year where there's a big gap and we don't have enough.
That's really exciting. Here, like the last 2 years were like a struggle, right?
No,
Has it been a struggle? You have staff?
not one pool. If we had 2 pools, it would have been but with 1 pool, it's been, we've been fine.
It's just always tight getting into the season, like you. keep
Like a
on
lot of the
looking.
kids they're in a class now, some of them aren't gonna end till April, so it's, that puts a lot of stress on me to, like, I don't wanna be interviewing people in May. I want people hired and, stuff going on, so. But because they're going through, I will wait and I'll interview before we do the final hiring, so. Yeah, it's the 1 pool has not really been that issue. The supervisory staff has been more of the issue, the older kids, but I've got some kids that are a little bit older that have gone through our system that are able to take on those roles. But to staff 2 pools was where we would run into a lot of issues. And I know we have kids from Berlin who are working in other towns, because I've talked to other towns. So it just happens, sometimes they don't want to work in Berlin, so.
They know the parents or whatever, or maybe.
They just don't know, they have friends, like one, I guess, swims in a winter league in another town, so she wants to work with people that she swims with during winter, so, I mean, that happens. But yeah, I think we're pretty comfortable and confident with the numbers that we have.
So how's the budget? How'd you guys make out for Parks and Rec for a budget?
The budget hasn't gone to referendum yet.
I'm sorry?
The budget hasn't gone to
Yeah.
referendum yet.
No,
We
no,
haven't
no,
cut anything.
no, but, right now it's
They
the
just cut,
council,
they just cut,
did they
they
cut anything out
cut
of
the
here?
additional personnel, but that got cut before it even went, Ryan cut that.
So the dollars that we had for, if we want to reimburse WSI, which bumped out, it's in there. And the extra person that you were putting in,
It's gone.
That was cut from the town manager's budget.
so what is in there is just is the part-time. We have a part-time, or was that cut as well?
No, the funds were put back in.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, so you have a part-time opening if you can fill it with someone that you want.
Yes, that's a tough bill. I've had like 2 or 3 people, but no one likes. It sounds easier than it is.
No, I think part-time is tougher.
It
That's
is.
why, yeah.
Tina has the same problem with senior center, just can't get
Yeah,
anyone in that
yeah,
position to
yeah.
hold on to it.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I know. She has a part-time
Yeah.
opening, does she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's going through a couple
I
people.
don't know if you can hire one person that can help them both, I don't know.
You can't, because you can only work so many hours, or it has to be unionized, and so there's restrictions, so that's what.
Because of part-time and both.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you hit a certain number of hours.
Fishing derbies, you're all set? People
Hopefully.
signed up?
Yeah, not large numbers, I mean, it's gonna rain all on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're gonna break through the ice tomorrow to load the fish in, so we're gonna have problems. And then, yeah, then Easter hunt in the afternoon
Yeah.
on Saturday.
It's gonna be right before you're gonna go.
Probably Burl High. I will make that official announcement tomorrow. I don't like to do it too early, because then people expect it, so. But, yeah. That's what it is.
What are the fishing hours for those 2 Saturdays?
8 to 10, so it should be on my calendar form.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think someone said the second week is like opening day for maybe lacrosse and Little League. Sorry, but that's one of their weeks. So our numbers are down for that second.
Yeah.
Yeah, April 20th, it's opening day for soccer.
I mean, that's what happens.
It's late.
Hmm?
It's late.
I think because of Easter.
Yeah.
I think it would have been the weekend before, but that's Easter.
It's the week
weekend.
Yeah,
after
yeah.
vacation always.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Ours is this
Yeah,
weekend.
vacation, because vacation starts. this
Monday.
weekend.
Or, yeah, after tomorrow.
Anything else for Debbie? Thank you.
Just, I do have one thing that's not on here. Last Thursday, I don't know if anyone saw it on Facebook or anything, but we had a situation at the community center.
Oh, yeah.
Where the HVAC unit, the Freon, I'm not sure what happened, but it basically burned and there was smoke in the building. We had to evacuate. We did have groups, we had classes in there. They ended up closing us down for the rest of the day. They have since put in a temporary unit so that it's bringing in the outside air at this point, just to get air circulating in the room. We just reopened yesterday. And then at some point, they're gonna try to hook up an air conditioning unit to that, because at some point, the air outside is gonna be too warm to bring in to make it comfortable in there, so they'll hook that up again temporarily and they'll have to replace that unit. Was on the list to be replaced anyway, I think. It's a big project. Is that public building now?
Yeah, facilities is,
Facilities is doing it, but I think it's at the public building commission to.
but I think
approve
the
that
Board of
project.
Finance has stated publicly that they're gonna do it.
It's old though, right? It's really old.
Well, the thing is, each room has an individual unit in our building, so they replaced one this past summer, but there's 9, I think they said 8 or 9 more, and so they all have to be replaced. So this will be a temporary fix, probably they're estimating till maybe August, is when they'll.
Does it impact the library as well, or
No.
so it's totally your units are separate?
Yeah.
It's not hooked in?
So we are back up and running, but people were pretty devastated for a
Yeah.
few days,
Yeah.
having that
Yeah.
center, not having that fitness center open.
Dramatic.
We did it, I mean, I walked in, the alarm went off and I said, okay, let's evacuate, and I walked in and the smoke was pretty bad and the smell was awful. So we got people out, we had 4 fire trucks there, the ladder truck was there. So they could figure out where it was and then get it under control, get the air quality back to where it was safe for us to go back.
Did the library have to leave? Did the smoke go up?
No,
No, not at all.
no, because their units it's totally separate. It was that unit in that room, so it was just pushing it right into that room. But we're good now.
Okay, thanks, Debbie. Parks and Grounds.
Quite a lengthy report this month, going from, winter where we're kind of stuck inside, just rebuilding stuff, servicing and everything. And then we kind of just turn the key into March and then we're out, all boots on the ground. Ally did a great job of putting a bunch of pictures together of everything we've kind of done throughout the month. It's kind of be a new thing every month. We're gonna try to highlight different areas and things we've been on, so you guys can actually see what we're doing out there. One of the biggest things I want to hit on is we did purchase a autonomous paint machine, where it's run off of a GPS system. So it goes on, you find a corner of the field you want to start with, doesn't matter if it's a baseball field, soccer field, cross field, whatever it is, and it automatically paints the field as you lay it out. Before we purchased it, it would take 3 guys 4 hours to paint a soccer field, 3 guys 4 hours to paint a cross field, vice versa, same with the football field. And this machine relatively does it in about 25 to 30 minutes. It's not about how much time it saves and how much more we can get done as a department. It's more along the lines of how much we can move a field and manipulate a field. So if our standard field was 150 wide by 300 long, and there's different dimensions we can go to, we can shrink, we can move it, we can bump it. So instead of having to relay the whole field out, you just press a little button, it reconfigures and it just
Wow.
moves over. Very expensive. I think we paid like $45,000 for it. But it has been a godsend and a lifesaver.
That's great.
So, yeah, and the boys did a great
And that's what
job.
the Swazi,
That's the SWAT.
I was gonna ask, that's, yeah.
And if you get to look up online, it's great. It's a German company. It's just been a tremendous asset. Like even with all the rain last week, we never would have been able to get that out there with our other paint machine.
Yeah.
So we went out there, just went to work, and now all the fields are laid out in it. So all the guy has to do is ride it up onto the field and it just goes.
Is it like a little robot thing?
It's believe it or not, it looks like it's got two wheels, two larger wheels on the backside, a smaller wheel in the front, holds 7 gallons of paint. It's got these 2 little white diodes on top, and it just connects to the stage GPS and just paints away. So yeah, it's all compatible with everything we've had prior to this. So we don't have to change paint manufacturers, we don't have to change the paint we buy. There's other machines that are out there, but it comes with a hefty price. So I think we did very well.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
Yep. Next thing is I can go on to the, you guys are pretty sure we've gone through the packet, greenhouse update. All of our flowers came in, we're sitting somewhere around 5,500 plants. They come in as little plugs. They're growing pretty good. The way the weather's been, it's not been very conducive to our greenhouse because there's no sunlight coming in, so they're not as big as we would like them to be. And then sometime in the last week of April, we'll invite Kensington Garden Club. The Board of Ed is going to come down and a couple of organizations, and they select what flowers they're going to want for their plantings, and then the remaining plantings that we have put out throughout town. That's that. The Demore Dinda Bittner Junior Pool Memorial Monument. If you guys saw the picture, the pad has been poured at Veterans Park. We're slated to move that over on Monday. And then once Cab Bigelow is going to move that over for us on Monday and install it. And once that's installed, we will then start retrofitting and redoing the monument. That's the old blank monument now will be thrown. We're gonna rip out the boxwoods, refix the bricks, add some decorative grasses, and look to create a new stone. I think you said it the other night when you said the Demore Bittner Junior Memorial Park
Complex.
however we want to do that. So
Yeah.
we'll get a couple of signs together of what we want the new plaque that's gonna sit there to look like and how we're gonna want it to read. Covered field lights. We got a call from somebody that it appeared that one of the light poles was on a 45-degree angle. And what had happened is the mortar that sits in between the base and the light had cracked. And with the wind, it started to shift. So we had 2 great companies come out, they took it down, they secured it. Tentative plan is Doug had a engineer in last week to do some tests to see if it's still viable, we can use the same base. If we can use the same base, our plan is to resurrect the light pole, get everything back up and running. You guys remember from Scalise a couple of years ago, it's very lengthy. So we're probably looking at 2 to 3 months before everything's back up and operational. Pollinator bees, which I knew would be a topic of conversation, is the mom started going to Little People's Playground. Of course, the pollinator bees came out, they started talking. So we deal with a company called Advanced Pest Control. Jesse sent over kind of a statement to make everybody feel at ease. So if anybody calls Town Hall, Parks and Rec, or wherever it is, they'll get the whole dissertation from Advanced Pest Control, how they don't recommend killing them, they don't sting, the males can't sting, the females have the ability to bite, but you pretty much have to take one and squeeze it with your hands or your fingers and catch it for it to even become aggressive. So he will not recommend killing them, and we do not recommend them killing at all. They will come up, they will show up for about a month, and they will leave. They will come back next year, the same week that they were here this year, and then they will leave, and it's a continuous thing. So the more
They
we,
put those plants in already?
nope,
I was just thinking,
No.
planes aren't even there yet.
You gotta just.
and even with all the site work and everything we did, they all still came.
Wow.
Which is weird, because they say if you upset the lawn, if you dig it up, if you excavate, if you do all this, they won't come back. Well, we dug everything up, and they all came. So, that takes care of that. First of all, field,
Bristol Field will be short just because of what I'm legally allowed to say. the rumor that we finally got back to us was that US Pitch Care had closed its business and closed its doors. So that has prompted us to get our town attorney involved as well as the town manager, and we are looking at next steps. The good news is the field is playable, it has been played on, and nothing is closing the field at this time. So everything we're doing on the back end to deal with this is not affecting Berlin Youth Soccer for using the field. So.
What a shame.
So, I was thinking, is there a way that when you put the, where the benches are, put 2 spray paint lines? I won't, I'll monitor to make sure that they need to be in that way.
Yeah, we can figure a way to make that work, what's gonna be the best. And we'll enter that into the Swazi and when the Swazi. What she does. Yeah. Back one of the part right now.
Has DJ named her?
I think we went with this something like Swaz.
Swaz.
Dennehy looks great with the trees down, big difference.
Yeah.
There's a couple other trees that are taped around.
We just didn't, because of how wet it was, we couldn't in the clay, we couldn't get in there and add the topsoil to the grass to grow, so we were trying to prevent anybody from driving in.
Oh, that's why you don't want it, okay.
Exactly, so that'll be our next.
Yeah, looks good, looks good.
Filling up the field too.
These pictures are great, if you're gonna continue with them. 2 questions, the last 2 pictures, bleachers,
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry,
Willard.
don't know how I left that out. So what happened with the bleachers is this, we got a phone call from a concerned parent, resident, citizen, however we want to put it, that they wanted the features painted so they looked a little more aesthetic.
Yeah.
And when we went out there and started looking at them, someone's like, hey, they're a little rusted. Should we sand them? What should we do with them? So we deal with a company, Galvin Bleacher out of Massachusetts, who inspects our bleachers at Scalise, and they come every year. And he was like, those bleachers are pretty much outlawed and not allowed. So we went in there, we came up with a project, we touched base with Franco from the high school, because Zebdelli had a set, and we dealt with Brian from Berlin Little League, and that was confirmed that we're gonna remove them, take them down. We're going to put something in our capital budget to replace these bleachers moving forward. We have enough bleachers currently at these locations, but we're probably looking at, I believe Galvin's number was like $16,000 for like a standard 5-row bleacher for one set. So we'll put something into the capital plan moving forward, kind of base that off of complaints and needs.
I was gonna say they're expensive, because we looked at them, the ones that we borrowed last year,
Yes,
I think they were, somebody quoted us like $10,000 each.
yeah, they're not, you can't buy them. You can't buy the ones that we went to.
So right now, for those 2, there's nothing there.
Nope, currently right now, we had 4 sets of bleachers that we constructed back in like 2005.
Yeah.
And we had brought them up there, so we're just gonna take the 4 sets of bleachers, so there's 1 set on first base, 1 set on third base, on both fields, so there's adequate seating for anybody who possibly might want to go.
Alright.
The last one is, this is where the principal part, the catch basin completely let go and collapse. So the crew went out and did an amazing job of repairing that. It's safe. We're just waiting for highway to pave it. Cross another job off.
So the parking lots, who's responsible for that?
We are.
So over at McGee.
Yep.
If you've been over there, you can see where in front of all the pavements all, schmucked up from when it's from the evening.
Yeah, so we kind of rated all the parking lots in town that belong to the Parks and Grounds Department. And first one that is slated to be repaired is Willard. We do know McGee, in between Willard and McGee is Dennehy, which is not very safe. So we will continue to upgrade and repave as time allows and funding.
Yeah, well, you'll spot it, right? Fill in the holes, because when it rains, you can see where all the stuff is.
Yeah, we'll put the work order and the request into the highway and they'll go out and stop patching.
Yeah, okay.
What about those 2 vandalism things that Sage and
Yeah, the field,
First
or
one.
off fields.
what happened?
So currently, right now, we have a Wi-Fi trail cam set up at Sage Park. We're trying to catch it. It does not work as good as the rest of the cameras in the facility. We have not had any damage since we put up the other trail cams, so currently we have nothing on film. And we'll keep expanding as we go, where we want to go and how to make this network grow. What's going to work best for us?
Was anybody caught from those two incidences?
As of right now, no.
That we know of.
The one at Sage, I mean, I saw a couple parents parking right over it. They've been parking there for lacrosse games or practice or whatever.
We put some more barricades there today. Hopefully that's gonna deter the parents from driving the way they're going.
Yeah.
Like I said, we put 3 barricades there today and hoping that's gonna prevent them to continue to drive over the grass. If not, we'll reach out to Pam, and I'm sure Pam will reach out.
The one at Percival, I drove down there and looked at it, you know, they gotta cut the curb to get back there. And isn't there like houses surrounding
Yeah,
it, like no
yeah.
one?
They did, they went and talked to neighbors about ring cameras and stuff, the cops did.
I mean, when did you guys find out? That night or the next day or whatever?
Monday morning.
So nobody called, saying,
No.
we're seeing headlights spinning around in their back.
No.
It's all right.
Oh, and what we've done on our side through the grounds department is we were having a problem with locks. So we've now started to weld all of the chains to the lock. So there's no way to remove the lock from the gate. So they can't remove the chain, you can't remove the lock. So no matter what, it'll always be fixed there. So nothing, it can never disappear. What we're afraid of is somebody's going to forget to lock a gate, somebody's going to lose a lock, somebody's going to end up on one of our fields. And it's going to shut the field down for a prolonged period of time. We spent a lot of money on our fields to get them up.
Yeah.
Looking prestige, so.
Remember last month I told you about Sage softball? Did you ever end up reviewing the camera to see about the kid there?
Couldn't see anything. That camera is hard. You don't, it's not close to the field, so it's hard. But I went back, I couldn't find anything.
That's a good idea. We could possibly,
Move it.
no, we could possibly check that next Tuesday. Adding a camera there, because we have one 10 power there.
So you're adding a camera at Sage, like an actual bona fide, not a trail camera?
We're looking to add into the Sage system, yeah, not a trail cam, an actual camera for Sage Front. It just depends how far strong the Wi-Fi signal is there, which we're having IT involved with.
Yeah.
We've got a pretty good signal on Ally's phone from the porta potty. We kind of lose it as we get closer to the crosswalk, but if we go towards our green building, we have a good signal. As we go towards the left, I think we get blocked by the ledge.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll see if we can add one to Sage One as well. So I think our goal is to become more tech savvy and see how many cameras we can get our parks on, because it's just safer and peace of mind for all of us.
Because I mean, the cameras have come in handy. Even just last night, the grounds crew noticed that the gate to Scalise was left wide open last night. We were able to, yes, we could look at the schedule, who had the field reserved, but we were able to pinpoint exactly who was on the field. I was able to reach out to that
Yeah.
organization and they're like, hey, and they've already touched base their coaches and, ringed them. So it is helpful.
They left the gate open.
Which one is Scalise? Scalise. It's not.
Good job, Steve.
Thank you. One other thing is we met today to start discussing in our second annual field day at Sage Park. So hopefully, we're trying to get all the speakers in line of where we're gonna go. So we're looking either July 23rd or possibly July 30th. So we'll keep you guys abreast of how that's going moving forward. But we're hoping to grow off of what we had last year and really start to grow the organization. So.
Anybody else? Anything? Lucas?
I move to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second it. No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Lucas, feel better.
All right, see you guys soon.
Statement of need is